Hey friends, welcome back to the Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Sally Allen. And today we're going to talk about what a great communicator looks and sounds like. Sometimes we think, and most of the times, and I used to think, that someone who communicate effectively is someone who can express themselves. Wrong. I learned over the years that someone who communicate effectively mobilizes people, get people to take action, and actually removes friction. So what does that look like for you when you are communicating? I like to use the term in threes when you're communicating. But before we go into that, let's talk about what happens when people do not communicate effectively. When you're going in the meetings with fluff, and when you're going in the meetings to impress people, and when you are in the meetings and covering up, people recognize that. They also recognize when you don't know what you're talking about and you're trying to fudge it. So before I go into anything, I want to say this. If you don't know something and someone's asking you, especially leadership, just say, I think I know what the answer is, but let me clarify and get back to you because I don't want to give you the wrong data point. Don't fudge it and don't lie and don't try to impress anybody because guess what? Leadership will know. People can tell when you're forcing it and when you don't know what you're talking about. So I have some example here that I'm going to look at my computer and I want to share with you what it looks like and a framework on various types of communication, especially when you are in meeting. Now, I want you to remember this. If you want to become a strong communicator, start using structure and specifically use the communication structure of three, I like to call it. The brain loves pattern and it's always searching for patterns to retain information. And so it groups those patterns together. That's the sweet spot, three. Now, here's what that looks like. First, issue, solution, impact. This is when you're going in with a problem. Here is how that would be. When presenting a problem, do not vent. I cannot say that loud enough. Do not vent. Go in and structure it. Before I go into it, I want to say this. Always bring a solution. What is happening? What needs to change? And the results if we fix it and change it. That's what the business wants to see. Now, let me give you an example. Our turnaround time has increased by 18%. We need to reassign intake for the next 30 days. If we do, here's the result. We will recover our service standard before Q3. That's leadership in communication. Now, here's the second example. This is an ask, a context, and recommendation. Executives do not want data dump. I will tell you, they want direction. So, briefly set the stage. State your recommendation clearly and end with a specific ask. Do not sugarcoat it. Do not try to hide what you're asking for and let them read your mind. Here's an example. Client churn is rising in our mid-tier accounts. I recommend a 60-day retention sprint with targeted outreach. I need approval, clear ask, for 2 temporary resources. Clear ask. Everybody knows what you want. It's clear, it's strategic, it's actionable. Here's another example, and this one has to do with expectation, deadlines, and ownership. Especially if you're leading a team and if you are unclear here, that's on you. You have to be clear. You have to state what needs to be done and by when and by whom. Here's the example. Marketing will finalize the deck. It is due on Friday at noon. Sarah owns the final review. It's clear. No one's guessing who owns the deck. No one is guessing when it will be done. And no one's guessing who they should contact if they have any questions. I want to give you another example, and this one has to do with relevance. When persuading, do not just state opinion. You need to anchor it a little bit. And here is what that looks like when you give concrete examples. It makes a huge difference. You need to tie it back as to why it matters to that listener or that leader that's hearing it. And it builds credibility without sounding preachy. I will say that again. You want to build credibility without sounding preachy. Notice all of these have one thing in common. Do you know what that is? They remove all the fluff. There's no fluff in there. You're asking for exactly what you want. There's no emotions in there, and you're respecting people's time. So, if you want your career to accelerate and you want to get to that next level, learn how to communicate effectively. Sometimes when we think about communication, we're thinking about crucial conversation and we're thinking about, oh my gosh, I have to communicate clear so they understand. Yes, communicate clearly so that they understand, but communicate with structure. And that structure is based on the type of communication, on what they're asking for. And be sure to group it into threes using the examples I just gave you, and watch. They will stop looking at you as someone who delivers on time and look at someone who's strategic and moves the needle within the business. So, hey, if this episode sparked anything with you, remember to like, share, and download. And remember what I always say, if you change your mindset, you will change your life. Have an amazing day until I see you in the next episode.